What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Godspeed ZRZ. Now today I have plans to show you something that you probably haven't seen on YouTube, and I haven't either. What that is a long-term road trip review on the all-new Grand Cherokee. But first, we've got to go spray this thing off before we head out. So today is going to be the first long trip that I've actually taken in this new unit, and it's going to be a 4-hour trip. So it's about 2 hours there, 2 hours back. We're going to Chattanooga to the Tennessee Aquarium. So it'll be a great trip to actually test out the real fuel economy on the road. Since this vehicle does have 1,285 miles on it now, it's pretty much broken in. So we're going to see what kind of fuel economy we will get. I want to test out the actual ride and performance of it on the interstate, on the highway, at higher speeds, see what the road noise is actually going to be like, and see how stable it actually feels on these higher speed roads. And then aside from all that, I'll also be testing out the actual features to see if we have any major hiccups or anything like that, because we all know if something was to go wrong technology wise, it's definitely going to happen on a road trip. So I'm about to do something today I 100% advise against, but let me show you first. It is extremely nasty, and you can tell right here it is just absolutely covered. But what we're going to do is we're going to take it through the automatic car wash and see what kind of damage we actually get. So I always 100% advise against this, but like I said, we're going to test out and see what kind of damages actually occur from one of these washes. If anything's going to show scratches from automatic car wash, it's going to be this car. So today we'll definitely find out what happens. So we had about a quarter of a tank left, filled it up, cost $51. That's at $3.19 a gallon for the 87, which the 3.6s don't require the high octane fuel. Now for the car wash itself, it got it pretty clean, as you can see here. Obviously it was extremely nasty. I'm sure it did scratch it at least a little bit, which it already had a couple little scratches. I'm sure you can see this, that right there. So that might have came from the car wash as well. Not exactly sure. It's never going to give you a perfect wash, but it will wash it off pretty well. And you can see back here, all the little nooks and crannies are still pretty nasty. The back glass is nasty, and even this down here. So we're definitely going to have to wipe that down with some quick detailer, but other than that, it did pretty good. And I don't think it marred it up too bad at all. But I still definitely don't recommend doing it. So something really crazy I wanted to show you guys. As many of you have seen on my dash, the windshield washer light is on and the fluid's low. So I opened up the engine bay, that way I could check it out and just go ahead and fill it up. So I was looking in here and I finally did find the reservoir, but if you look in here, you can tell that is where the windshield washer fluid reservoir is. And I thought, man, that is just so strange. I don't even know if I have a nozzle to get it back there. So I was doing a little bit of research and trying to see where, you know, how everybody else refills it. Couldn't find anything on it, just like it was something so simple that people don't even need to make videos on. But I figured something this crazy people would make videos on. So I actually called the GM of the store I bought this one for, and I got him to look at another Grand Cherokee, and sure enough, this one is actually missing the entire nozzle assembly. So it would usually come up right here with the yellow cap, and it would go and feed into that reservoir right there on the side. But as you can see, this one is just missing that entire piece. So I'm not sure why or how that got missed from the factory, but sure enough, it does not have it. So he's gonna go ahead and send me one out. That way we can put it in and we should be good, and that'll fix all the problems. But that's just something really crazy I wanted to show you guys. So we're finally out on the road here, and as you can see, I've got everything reset for the trip. So we're on the interstate right now, cruising at 80. So for the first test here, we're just going down the interstate at 80. I've got the adaptive cruise control set, and this is basically just to hear the road noise. Obviously in the newer body style, where they are a little bit bigger, they've got quite a bit more sound deadening as well. So the road noise is really not even as noticeable as it was in the last body style. And I'm sure the exterior styling's helped with a lot of that too. So now we've been on the road for at least, let's see, about 33 minutes, as you can see there. Average fuel economy so far has been 20.7 miles a gallon, and we've went 44.3 miles. We still got a ways to go, probably right around an hour. But anyway, as for the on-road control, especially at higher speeds, with the weight of this vehicle, it feels really good, really planted. You really don't have to make any major corrections for steering, even whenever you hit big bumps or anything like that. and it doesn't get blown around by the semis much at all. And like I say, it does feel planted, but at the same time it still feels pretty nimble, so it's not anything like driving a big massive truck. It just feels like a really good vehicle for these longer road trips. And the adaptive cruise control is really nice. It's extremely convenient. Of course, most vehicles now do have it, so it's one of those creature comforts that we've pretty much all become accustomed to. But on these longer road trips, it really comes in handy. As you can see, that car just pulled out in front of me and it slowed down all the way to 75. I've got the cruise set to 80, so it just slows down and speeds back up as it needs. And you've got the different buttons here for your follow distance for closer and farther away. This one doesn't have the steering assist, so a lot of the other cars, they do have that nowadays. But as for the Jeeps, as far as I know, I don't believe they have that self-driving mode or smart cruise, whatever you want to call it. And I personally don't like to use it regardless if they do have it or not. So I think this is set up perfect for what we're doing right now. Of course, as we're getting into Chattanooga here, finally getting back into the mountains, so you can see the outline going all the way across. Just an awesome view. As we're climbing up the mountain here as well, of course, we got the 3.6 liter V6 with that 8-speed automatic transmission, and it's really not straining itself at all. Obviously, the 3.6 has got somewhere around 280 some horsepower, and I believe it's right around 260 some foot-pounds of torque. So it's plenty of power for any normal on-road situation. But carving these mountain roads going up, it's got no issues at all. And of course, with this adaptive cruise control and cars driving extremely slow, going around curves, whatever the case may be, it's adjusting pretty quick. So it's not too aggressive whenever it gets back onto the throttle, and it's not too aggressive whenever it slows down. So we are here, and so far we've went 104 miles, averaged 21.1 miles a gallon, and the trip time was 1 minute 35 seconds. So we did pretty good with traffic. But as for driving up and down the mountains, it got pretty good fuel economy and it handled itself pretty well, and we'll see how it does on the way back. So we're getting close to being back in this thing, and I just wanted to go over the actual comfort and the room. So of course, for the driver's seat, it's got plenty of room and the seats have been extremely comfortable. No issues at all with that. For the passenger seat over here, even though I've got a 5'5" passenger, how tall are you, 5'9", 5'10"?
6'5".
5'9" passenger, still got room over there in the side, and that is with the car seat in the back. And then we've got a middle passenger, and then someone on the very end as well. Definitely have plenty of room, and nobody's had any issues in terms of having space. So that's just another thing to go over with the comfort on these. If comfort is one of your priorities, you won't have any issues in the all-new Grand Cherokee. So we have made it back, and these are the details on the trip. So we actually ended up averaging 21.8 or 21.9 miles per gallon on the entire trip. 213 miles, which I didn't start it till we got on the interstate, so I'm sure there's about maybe 10 miles off on that. And then you can see the time there, 3 hours 17 minutes. honestly, it wasn't a bad trip at all. Like I said, it was extremely comfortable, and I honestly believe this Jeep performed extremely well. I was super impressed with how it actually handled and how everything functioned the entire trip. And one thing I will say, whenever you do have two phones inside the Jeep that have been previously connected for the Android Auto Apple CarPlay, it does seem like whenever you're trying to use the wireless capabilities for that it gets a little bit confused. So it does take a couple extra minutes for it to connect to a phone in general, especially the right phone. But once you get past that, everything does work pretty easy and exactly the way it should. One thing super weird though that we did find out in this video, just to do a recap, was the windshield washer fluid nozzle not being there, which was extremely weird. But like I said, we will have a fix for that. It's coming in the mail very soon. So I'll actually show you guys how to install that. And what I have heard, at least from the parts manager at that store, is that that has been a very common issue so far. For some reason, they've just been sent out without that. Maybe the same thing with the engine cover. So I'm going to ask him about that as well. But we do know that we're going to be getting that nozzle for the windshield washer fluid that goes into the reservoir, and he'll be able to take care of all that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little trip and a little inside look as to how this Grand Cherokee is really going to be to live with. Of course, most people that are looking at a machine like this are definitely going to be planning to use it for family trips, for little road trips, stuff like that. And in my honest opinion, it performed perfectly for that specific purpose. Now, you guys got to see all the data on it and how it really did. And we did take it through the automatic car wash and it came out okay. Obviously did get a few little scratches on it, but nothing too big of a deal. But if you guys haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next. And until next time, Godspeed.